Good morning. This is David Bennett, and this is Bitcoin And, a podcast where I try to find the edge effect between the worlds of Bitcoin, gaming, permaculture, podcasting, and education to gain a better understanding of all. Edge effect is a concept from ecology describing a greater diversity of life where the edges of two systems overlap. While species from either system can be found at the edge, it is important to note there are species in the overlap that exist in neither system, and that is what I seek to uncover. So join me in discovering the variety of things being created as Bitcoin rubs up against other systems.
It is 9:05 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It's the 17th day of September 2024, and this is episode 955 of Bitcoin, and I am bringing you a gentleman by the name of Tomek. We sat down for an interview. This would be our second interview, in fact. However, you never got to hear the first one because the audio died, and I didn't know it. It was, well, actually, I knew it when I wasn't able to get the file down from the platform that I was using. It was stuck. It wasn't going to come down. It happens. You know, you do a really good interview and you sit down for an hour. I think we talked for at least an hour and a half that particular day, and all of it was just gone. So when I delivered the bad news to Tomek, him being the good sport that he is, said that he would do it again. And this time I had backup recording. I had all kinds of stuff and everything worked fine. Tomek is from the Alby team. Just so you know what we're going to be talking about today, it's the Alby extension in my browser that I always use to do at least one of three things. I use it to log in to every nostr platform that will take a nostr ID, you know, an NSEC and an npub, so it handles my nostr private and public key pair. I use it to zap and receive zaps on any of the nostr clients that I have, and it is the receiving end for, well, it's part of the receiving end for anybody that boosts my podcast episodes or streams Satoshis to it. I always set up get Alby or my extension as getting 1% of all the Satoshi streamed to it and boosted to it. And then I set up on my in my podcast, I use Podhome.fm as my hosting company, and they allow me to set up multiple addresses to have percentages go to. So I've got that other 99% actually streams directly to my wallet. And the reason that I use Alby to do that is so that I can just use Alby to get a good feel of is anybody boosting. I'll only see 1% as the number of Satoshis that I've gotten from that, but I know immediately that I've gotten something through the podcast because of the way that they do their memos. It does a lot of things. If you are not using Alby, I highly recommend that you at least try it out, because they've got all kinds of stuff that works very, very well on multiple platforms, and me and Tomek get into all of that. We're going to talk about the old Alby, the way it was with the custodial wallet, and now they don't do that anymore. They've transitioned to the second part that we'll talk about is Alby Hub. That's what they've migrated to, right? They also have a mobile wallet that is now, well, it's because it's in beta and I'm one of the beta testers. It should be live any day now, or, well, any week now. I don't know. 2 weeks, TM. You go figure, right? I'm using it and it works like a charm. And it's just this wonderful ecosystem of being able to combine Nostr and Podcasting 2.0 and Zaps and have a Lightning wallet and have it connect to my own node, or you can have it connect to a cloud node that you rent. It is amazing. I cannot recommend this product enough, and it was one of the reasons why I really wanted and needed to get one of the team members from Alby onto the show so that we could discuss this. So I'm going to drop you in right now to that interview with Tomek from the Alby team. It's freaking weird, but we're not here to talk about all of that. We are here to talk about Alby. So
Yes, sir.
I got Tomek, and Tomek, you are with Alby. What do you do for them?
I'm like user-facing interface of the company. You can call it marketing and promo and social media and going to sometimes podcasts, events, making sure that our team knows what to build, what people want, and there is communication in two ways. People out there know what is Alby and how to use it.
Well, how long have you been working for them? I mean, when did you fall into getting hired on with the guys over at Alby?
I joined the team a year ago. I think that's a year
Yeah.
now, and yeah, I mean, I've been like getting ready to transition to a Bitcoin job, as for many of us that fall this rabbit hole, it's like the thing that we kind of aspire to, and eventually I want to get on Bitcoin standard also in terms of where do I work, and also it's a pleasant experience, right? Work somewhere where your passion is. So I was like preparing for this kind of transition and not like kind of actively looking for a job there, but yeah, somehow we got in touch. Alby was partnering and sponsoring one of the sponsors of our film festival that we did 2 years ago, and a year ago the next edition, right? So we got in touch with the team, got on a few calls, and I was happy to join them.
Yeah, you're definitely one of the lucky ones. There's so many of us that have been flirting with Bitcoin standard, Bitcoin jobs, and some have had better luck than others.
I imagine there is not that many, right? There is not that many like places, spots for people to work on, right? And most of these companies are still not making money, but they still live off investments and they live on hopes. But these hopes have some rational basis, and even if these startups like Alby, they eventually will not, succeed business-wise. There is a great legacy that not only Alby, but these companies, groups like LNBeats, BTC Pay, that they already built, and there are other people, groups, companies that built on top of this legacy, these protocols that this people, organized open source contributors delivered.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think really holds, I don't know what holds me back, and I think what holds a lot of other people back is that when you say that there's a few companies that you could actually go do this for, there's even fewer that hold the amount, like have a really good eye to the ethics of what's going on. Like finding a company that doesn't shit coin that you can go work for automatically cuts out like 50% off the top. And then there's other issues that you have to work through. Like people will say that they're a Bitcoin company, and then you get into the weeds of it and you find out that there's shitcoinery going on in the background. They're not overtly shitcoiners, but then you like start digging under the sheets and you find out they're trading these other tokens. And it's really kind of heartbreaking in a lot of ways, because you have a lot of respect for, there's, a couple of instances I can think of where there's a lot of respect for a person. They got a company, they hire a Bitcoiner. The Bitcoiner wants to actually just do Bitcoin, and come to find out there's all kinds of weird extramural activities when it comes to that kind of thing. And so that makes the amount of companies in this space that are actually good, high quality, ethical companies, it makes them even less. And I think that's a real fight, because we got a bunch of hardcore Bitcoiners out there that really want to go work for these companies. And when you finally peel back all the layers and you find out who they actually are, the real ones, they're even less than you thought.
I wonder whether one of the solutions would be either to have more of such companies, some projects that either get their investment or make money somehow on this business, that there is opportunity to make business, or to orange pill existing companies, businesses, right? I guess kind of, I don't know what comes to your mind. Tidal or other companies by Jack Dorsey, I don't think they are like orange pilled on all top down or MicroStrategy, right? I doubt like people on a lower level, they are being hired because of like some Bitcoin ethos. So it will take time, and probably both solutions will somehow appear, but it will take time.
Yeah, and there will probably be a couple of more solutions that come up. But getting back to Alby, I just kind of want to go back to the like as far back in your memory, because you didn't start with the company like right up front. You came in a little bit later, but can you tell us about like why the people that got together to start Alby, why they did it? What was the problem they were trying to solve?
Hard for me to speak for them for their personal motivations. I believe they were honest, and the mission that we are still kind of pursuing with Alby to make Lightning Network truly decentralized and accessible to everyone, it was already their motivation, and it happened. If I read the chronicles of Alby properly, it happened at the Lightning Hackathon in Istanbul, where there was this Joule Lightning extension, and kind of trying to improve this idea of Joule. These three guys, Rene, Bumi, Moritz, they built a Lightning browser extension, and from this letter's abbreviation actually comes Alby, Lightning browser extension. And it was just a tool to make it easier to operate with Bitcoin Lightning on the web, and make also use of LND nodes easy, because LND was the most popular back then. I'm not sure if it is now. And then also Alby figured that it's not that easy also to run that node, right? It's obvious. It's still kind of challenging. Yeah. So they started offering those Alby accounts where you can call it like custodial wallet, right, of Alby, where Alby LND node was shared among its users. We don't do it anymore. The solution now is fully self-custodial, right, with the latest release of Alby Hub. So in the meantime, because it was the first code was on Alby GitHub, was I think submitted 3 years ago. I think almost exactly 3 years ago. But since then, Alby built few interesting tools and libraries for developers that make use of Lightning on the web, and also today nostr and few other tricks like signing messages or transactions or events with your nostr keys, but also Bitcoin keys, on-chain keys, liquid keys. Those are quite interesting features that still I guess are looking for their market fit.
Yeah, well, because I started using Alby, I don't know, not terribly long after it started, and it was just, for me, it's just a wallet that I could use. It was integrated into my web browser, and I was using Alby. God, I was using Alby before I was using nostr, and I honestly, now that I've used it with nostr so much, and podcasting 2.0 so much, I kind of can't remember what it was that I was using it for when I first got it. That's how long I've been using this thing, right? So, but now,
and it's still not boring for you, or you didn't get tired. That's good.
Oh God, no. It gets better and better and better. See, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have some of the guys from Alby on the show to talk about this, because I don't think people are really aware of how important the Alby extension actually is. Because like I said, when it first started, it was simply a Lightning wallet embedded in your browser. And then I started using the Alby address as podcast, where I was receiving Satoshis for my podcasting 2.0 stuff. And that way I could keep a track on what was going on. But then we got in, Alby integrated with nostr. And so it's like it just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. And it's, and you're still expanding, and we'll get into that here in a second. But when the nostr integration came in, that made Alby my go-to wallet for zapping people on nostr. And for those people that don't know or haven't tried nostr, I don't know why you haven't. It doesn't cost you anything, and you really need to claim your namespace before TikTok and Facebook and all the rest of the crap melt down. But it made it incredibly easy to integrate my interactions with other people. And it was almost as if it was so fluid. It was almost as if I wonder, and I know you can't speak to this because you're not one of the developers, but either they did it so well out of the gate when they started integrating nostr, or it was a happy accident that it turned out to be such a fluid experience when it came to just, here's my nostr address or here's my Alby address, and I give that to nostr, and all of a sudden my zaps were enabled instantly. I didn't have to do anything, and the wallet acts as a goat, like a place where I can shoot zaps from and receive zaps too. And all it was just embedding my Alby address into my nostr profile. That was it. It was, and like I said, it was like, it's almost as if that kind of integration has to be worked over by so many developers that it's insane, or it just happened to be that Alby and nostr just magically fit together as happenstance. Have y'all ever talked about that? I mean, was this hard to get this integration with nostr going, or was it just magic?
For like building and maintaining such extension is not easy job, and our developers, I also hats off to them, are doing incredible job with it. From what I've heard, it wasn't that difficult to do nostr integration, and it was all of us, we are maxi Bitcoiners who are also looking at the new technologies that are popping up, and we are fans of open source and decentralization. So nostr, everybody is on nostr much more than on Twitter or anywhere. What's a good thing about it is that you can, I guess you can track, right? You can track these discussions on GitHub, who was it that suggested first this improvement to the code, and who was it that accepted it and merged the PR. And you can see the changelog, who was behind which feature. And that's also beautiful about Alby, because it's not only Alby team, people that are actually paid for building this stuff, delivered it, but also there is plenty of, volunteers, open source contributors who just want to make these tools better and the use of Lightning easier. And they also bring quite a lot of, ideas and features. Alby is also open for, we are running this open hours, we are running feedback boards, we are constantly in touch with users on to what features do they want. And I wonder whether it made me think when you were asking this question, and I feel like in name of Alby, I can only say I feel honored by that you are appreciating it that much. But that made me think, what would be next such step for at least extension, right? Because for Alby, we recently released this hub. Now there is Alby Go, a mobile wallet. But I wonder whether there is something, and we sometimes think about these features in the extension, what it would be that could be so natural, right, to what our users want. If you have suggestions or any of your users, hit us up. There is always room to improve.
Yeah, well, you brought up Alby Hub, but first, in case any of the listeners don't know, is that Alby used to be a custodial wallet. Y'all took custody of the funds, and I never had a problem with it, and nobody I ever knew had a problem with it. But everybody, there was always this chatter about how custodial is always bad, which I don't agree with up to a certain point. If I wouldn't want somebody else to custody $5,000. I get nervous when somebody else is custodying 500, but 50, $50, $25. I don't care. It's not that big of a deal for me. But something happened in Alby's history that y'all decided to move from the custodial model, and some people were asking why. And they don't go and read the Alby blogs because it's all kind of explained in there. But a couple of months back, Alby made the move to say, look, we're doing away with the custodial wallet. We're going to do it in stages, but essentially we're going to introduce this new system. We're going to introduce Alby Hub, and you're going to take self-custody, but you're going to run on our rails, the Alby rails, to do it. So before I ask you to kind of break down what Alby Hub is, I'm wondering, or I want to make it, I definitely want to say the following. When I set Alby Hub up, the way that you guys, and it was very easy, but the way that you guys kind of, the technical document said, hey, do this and then do this and do this. And it was like a minute and a half. It took me a minute and a half to do this thing. It was not that big of a deal. I'm not a programmer. I didn't need to be one. I have seen absolutely no change in the ease of use for using my Alby extension. It's like nothing changed. And I want that to be up front, because generally speaking, people hate change. Believe me, I know. I can't stand it. I'm one of these people that I hate change, right? And it made no difference to me whatsoever. But I have my own node. It was a little bit different that way. So at this point, could you tell us what Alby Hub is? Is it a full blown replacement for the custodial wallet, or in your view, is it something even more than that?
In terms of products that Alby offers, yes, it's a replacement, and slowly it will replace the custodial solution that we are slowly sunsetting. It's also a challenge to educate, convince people, like you said, they don't like change, to use, because it requires a bit of effort, right? You need to either install Alby Hub on some of your devices, or you need to pay someone to host it for you. You need to open channels. Like, the self-custody doesn't come that easy yet, but Alby Hub, I guess it's a good step in making that easier. So it's a node and wallet in one, with a sleek interface that, as I said, you can install almost anywhere. And it integrates very well with Alby products, because it's powered with nostr Wallet Connect. And nostr Wallet Connect was kind of a in-between product for what we had, because, as you mentioned, like a few months back, we made this decision and announced that, okay, we are not opening any more custodial accounts, and we will be delivering self-custodial wallet. So it was not only the history of Alby, but a history, I guess, of Lightning ecosystem, and it all exists in some context. And it's not only us that at some point had to kind of step out of offering services to the US. It's also some changes in interest in Bitcoin and certain adjacent technologies, with some NFT waves. That there was a small wave of kind of spammy activity on our node. It's challenging to share node with thousands of users who you don't know what will be the inflow of sats, what type of money is it? Is it your responsibility or not? So it's a whole context. Eventually, building nostr Wallet Connect, it was a great kind of realization for all of us that okay, in this situation, maybe we should release our own self-custodial wallet that will be powered with this nostr Wallet Connect that we released a few months earlier and worked hard to drive its adoption. So realizing, hey, let's build Node, because it didn't have a name yet then, but Alby Hub was the earliest name I think we gave to this project. Was kind of like eureka, yes, this is the mission, this is the way we want to go, and actually it's actually follows all of us vision into what Lightning, I guess, should be as a scaling solution to Bitcoin, to be resilient and to actually give like financial power to the people. It needs to be decentralized, and decentralization is not when there is big Alby node and big Blink and big wallet of Satoshi node, and there is 3 or 4 nodes in the network, and majority of Bitcoiners are transferring sats, but some or maybe not necessarily even sats between accounts of those 3 projects, right? So we are happy to go this sovereign and self-custodial way, even if it maybe doesn't come with certain business benefits, but that's also who knows.
Right. Well,
we all believe that it was a good move, right?
Yeah, I do, and the reason that I do, and some people don't understand my vehement stance on the long arm of the United States judicial system, but a lot of people are in the crosshairs of somehow or another, even if you're outside a sovereign nation, a sovereign citizen outside of the United States. Apparently, we can just project our power anywhere to some place that we think is doing something, like the Wallet of Satoshi guys. They got out of the U.S. market altogether because they just didn't want to deal with it. I don't blame them. I absolutely don't blame them. Samurai, Tornado Cash. The list goes on and on and on. I honestly think that it was a really good move for Alby to just say, you know what, we're not doing custody anymore. There's other ways to be able to do this without us actually managing your funds, and which I think I think that is an emergent property of what we see in Bitcoin, Lightning, eCash, Fedimints, Nostr, these kinds of things, is that we're starting to see these systems attached to each other in ways that are surprising, at least for me. So, like, for instance, you guys over at Alby said no to custodial, and then gave me the option to use the Alby, all the good stuff, all the front end neat stuff that I can do with Alby, except I'm powering it from my Lightning node. But there's a lot of people that don't have Lightning nodes. They can't attach their own sovereign Lightning node to Alby because they don't have one. But you guys came up with the ability to either is it host your own node or get liquidity from another node? Do y'all have both services? I can't remember, because I know there's something called Nodana, which is hosting for Alby Hub. So you can host Alby Hub somewhere on Nodana, right?
Yeah, like in this model, I guess you can find people or companies that host for you LNBits instance or BTC Pay instant, and same with Alby. It's an open source software, and we are actually happy to see that there is already a kind of competition for us, because Alby business model now is based on selling this cloud infrastructure for the code that is open source, and we know how this code looks and works like. So it's also probably the slickest way to use Alby Hub today. And I think it's something positive to see that there is this guy, Tom, I believe he was guest of our Alby community calls, and I invite anyone who is listening to this. We are hosting those every other Thursday, Alby community calls, where you could meet our team, users, and fantastic different projects. And one of them visiting us was Tom, who runs Sintra, and he runs Nodana. And he does hosting for Alby Hub and for, I believe, 3 other apps that you could, like, you buy hosting and you can maybe install WordPress somewhere or install some other app. Tom does it with some Bitcoin apps, which is cool. You can compare prices. I think it's also, his version is a bit, if I'm not mistaken, it's a bit cheaper, but it's charged per minute, so it's also a bit different business model. Anyway, Dave, it's also, it's not that much super innovative that we did it, because there is already users have options to run their nodes, which maybe are, for some users not that easy, or other people are more browser based, other are more mobile phone based, so they use Phoenix. There are great teams like Mutiny or Umbrel or Start9 that give us already, and projects like Raspberry that give users, if you want to, you can run your node, and it's not that difficult, right? And with Alby Hub is even easier. So we are happy that we are following this path of other little giants, and all of us together with podcasters like you, I guess, build this for the much bigger and much brighter, hopefully, future of Bitcoin. And maybe it's good. I don't know. I got this thought when you were speaking, that maybe it's good that we got this disruption, and I don't know, hunting for some activity from U.S. government, as you mentioned. It's maybe good that it happens so early, so we have more time to see that the direction, and we notice that the direction to be away as much resilient from any governmental or any other organized force agencies we might face. So because otherwise, maybe if US would let wallet of Satoshi to exist, or Phoenix, so easily within the US, maybe there wouldn't be that much innovation in self-custody, right?
Right. Which, well, and
creative disruption.
This kind of brings me to this notion of, and for those of you who don't know, me and Tomek tried to do this a couple of weeks ago, and the entire audio file just fell apart. I wasn't able to capture it. So we've been through these questions before, but
I don't have this feeling of repeating. We still have kind of same discussion, kind of following the same topics, but I'm getting a bit different insights from talking with you. So
it's
glad we are redoing it.
Yeah, it's
not much happened in the last
like a practice run. We had a practice run.
Oh yeah, we were training. Okay, so this one is supposed to be. Now we have cameras, right?
Right, but you're talking about that, like if it hadn't have been for this long arm of the United States Justice Department cracking down, then we might find ourselves where we're getting lax on innovation. And here's the thing: is that I think that this particular example is kind of poignant, because right at the time that Alby was making the switch was exactly the week that I did an interview in Colorado with one of my neighbors he's like an 18-year-old kid. He built his first business when he was 14. He had a second business by the time he was 15. And we're talking they're not huge businesses: lawn mowing, snow removal, excavation, and now he's doing like septic tank installs. All right, this is it's all blue collar work, but he's a burgeoning Bitcoiner. Me and him started talking about Bitcoin a couple of years ago. He's never stopped thinking about it, and now he's kind of into it. And when I got him on the show, I told him, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set you up with, you're going to have to do a couple things, but I'm going to set you up with an Alby account. You're going to give me when you're done, you're going to give me your address. I'm going to throw it into the splits on my podcast, and you're going to get half of all the sats sent to me. He's like, man, this sounds great. This is going to be awesome. And I go, yeah, you're going to be able to see what it looks like to use Bitcoin off chain, because he had only ever done any, his only experience was non-Lightning experience, was only on chain Bitcoin. And I wanted to really blow his mind with what it was like to see sats come in real time. Just so happened when he got set up with all this, and he did get set up with an Alby account. He did give me his Alby address. I dropped it into the podcast. It didn't work. And that's when I realized that Alby had just that week moved over to Alby Hub. And I'm like, so I call him up early. Okay. I text him and I go, hey dude, this doesn't work for X, Y, and Z reasons.
Sorry about that.
It's okay, because
you broke your demo.
Yeah, there's an Uncle Jim answer to this in Alby Hub. And
But like anytime I show somebody something, it's cool in Bitcoin, somebody from outside, and like, look at this. It doesn't work now, right? And that's classic, and now it was kind of our fault, so sorry for that. But
no,
how did you solve it? You installed wallet of Satoshi.
I was just like, I go, give me a few weeks. I will figure this one out because it needs to be figured out. But when me and you were talking the first time, we were talking about this, and there's this. This goes along with what you were saying about the innovation aspect of long arm of the United States law, and it kind of accidentally drives innovation. I don't think the United States government really realizes the amount of mess that they've made for themselves every time they try to stomp on a little ant, because it just sends 10,000 ants scurrying away in different directions. And that's what we got here, because now with Alby Hub, now instead of sending him to Alby and getting his own custodial wallet, which he can't because we've gone to Alby Hub, I can provide those services for him off of my Lightning node out of Alby Hub. And so now that puts the pressure, or if there is any pressure, that relocates the pressure from the company, Alby, to the user.
That was our motivation, to outsource risk on you.
Right. And which
no. It's an outcome, I guess. Yes, it's more difficult to hunt users when everybody can be a custodian now.
Yeah, because now I make up the decentralized 10,000 ants that were generated when the United States government started stomping on Tornado Cash. They started stomping on Samurai. They started stomping on Wallet of Satoshi. And 2 or 3 other companies decided to get out before they even got stomped on. All they did was generate 100,000 different people that now have the same ability that a single centralized company had. I don't think they understand what they did. And I don't think they understand the ramifications of what it is that's coming down the pipe for them. And when they try to figure out a way to stomp that shit out, it's going to get even worse. So when I mean Uncle Jim, at this point, I just want to make a statement, and I want you to like fill in the holes for me if you can. I can go back to Cody, which is the kid that I was interviewing that started this whole discussion, and I can provide him a wallet off of my Alby Hub that uses my back-end Lightning node for liquidity in and liquidity out, and you have to have it both directions. Otherwise, you can only either send or only either receive or do nothing. You need both to be able to send and receive. However, he's not going to actually be, while he might be using my liquidity, he doesn't get to own my liquidity. He just gets to leverage it. And that way, for him, his experience would be exactly like my experience was with Alby 4 months ago. All right. Is there anything that I said that's not correct?
Everything you said, I believe it's correct. Okay. Effectively, this Uncle Jim model, which is powered also with Nostr Wallet Connect, is enabling users to create sub-accounts, kind of sub-wallets on their node. Node still is restricted by its capacities of his channels. But the sub-wallets are having separate balances with each other. So effectively, they use the same liquidity, but they have different balances. So yes, you can share it with Cody. Actually, Cody was the motivation to deliver this. You can tell him now, look, sorry, bro, like send him regards from us because we failed with the demo. But now there is a solution, and he can actually get Alby extension, or get Alby.com, the web account, and connect it with Nostr Wallet Connect, either by scanning QR code or pasting this connection secret, and then he links to your node. And yeah, you could rag pull him theoretically, and practically as well. You could, as you know, any Lightning custodian company also theoretically, practically could.
Now, it's when me and you were talking about this exact same thing before, I was able to do this through Alby Hub. But if I remember correctly, like last week, Alby announced a new version of Alby Hub that's going to make that even easier. Is that
It's
right?
already out. Yes, it's
Okay.
already out, and it's basically the same thing, but the user experience is more guided, and I guess a lot of stuff about this node management and node running. We didn't fix anything in particular about Lightning Network. The innovation is still being done by lots of great developers on these lower technical levels, but there is Alby Hub and lots of such tools. They need to innovate with the design, with the user flow, with how stuff is communicated, and also education is quite crucial, right? It would be much easier. Most of the users that come, they don't even grasp yet what exactly is channels, how, and most of us, I guess, and many of us still do not, and it's nothing bad in it, but users need to be educated to understand how it works, especially users at this time in history of Lightning. So it's the same gratitude as to these open source developers go to podcasters like yourself, that you guys do also job in communicating ideas and talking about these tools. I hope that some of you listeners learned about Alby now. So we all kind of are at the early stage of this Lightning adoption. Happy that we do it together, right? And that Alby also connects with nostr Wallet, connect with so many different tools that we are not even competing even with projects or companies that do the same job in this space, because that's beautiful about Bitcoin, that we are aligned on mission, and still kind of the market, the space, it has such big potential to grow that there is room only for collaboration.
Right. And you'd mentioned, like you said, podcasters such as myself, which kind of brings me to this, the news that I heard about a Podhome integration with Alby. Did that happen? Was it Podhome.fm happens to be my hosting company for this podcast. And then I had heard something about Alby integrating directly with Podhome. Do you know anything about that? Or am I just getting that wrong? Did I mishear that?
It might be, I'm not updated. It might be Podhome or True Funds. Some companies already experiment with Alby Hub API. You can find it in your Alby Hubs in a settings page. There is something like more about or something like this, where a little more than send, receive could be performed, but something like create account, create node, open channel, which is still super like experimental and kind of theoretical, but I guess it would be also nice to see kind of more embedded within apps, running node. Imagine you are opening a nostr client and you need node, and you're not a Bitcoiner, you don't have a Lightning wallet, and you come through nostr and you need a Lightning node. Maybe it's an interesting area to explore, whether such clients could automatically open a node for this person while it's still self-custodial, and he maybe can use his own nostr keys to generate keys to this node. And I believe somebody will eventually come to some conclusions and start building. So it's still super early, and there is like so many features that we dream about in Hub or in general in Lightning Network. But yeah, it takes time to build them, and it's also very often a technological challenge, right?
Right. And then of course we had already discussed the Alby integration with nostr, but you said twice, a couple of times, that NWC, also known as Nostr Wallet Connect, was that made by Alby?
It was initiated by our developers, by Vitor from Amethyst and some other contributors. And I guess Alby is it's an open source protocol, and it originated on Alby's GitHub. While it's not, it's open source. Now it belongs to everyone. But yes, Alby puts the biggest effort, I believe, in maintaining it and promoting the protocol.
Oh, wow. See, I'm glad we got a chance to have this conversation a second time, because I must have missed that the first time. I had all this time, I thought Nostr Wallet Connect was a completely different, separate, and it is separate insofar that it's completely open source. Alby's not claiming it, but I had no idea that Alby initiated that particular project. That's amazing.
Oh yeah. We run this Discord for Nostr Wallet Connect developers. We run the website landing page for we maintain the repository for the code. So I believe, yes, you can call it an Alby product, but we don't need to. It's everyone's product now.
Okay. Well, and there's another product that Alby has. You've mentioned it a couple of times, but I want to get off into this. Back in the day, when I first started hooking up with Alby, the very first time that Alby's iPhone app was available it was either off a test flight or directly in the store, I got it. But y'all made the decision to take it down. What's funny is that I still have mine running on my phone, but you guys now have Alby Go. And I bring it up now because it's a question that was supposed to be later on, but I had somebody ask me directly, because I asked a couple of people, hey, what do you want me to ask, Tomek when they come on to the show? And they're like, when iOS app? And I told that guy, I go, well, they already had one. And he goes, I can't find it. And I'm like, well, it's because I don't update my iPhone. So because I don't update my iPhone, they can't strip off, apps that I already have. So mine still works. And then 2 days after that question was asked, or 2 weeks after that question was asked, you guys start talking about Alby Go. So you guys are what, back in the Apple iStore or whatever, or what's going on?
No, I guess it must be some weird situation with releasing such products officially to app stores, and it takes some review process, and then maybe you need to fix something. But there can be variety of reasons, but in general, the end goal in probably when you release it very soon, it should be open. Alby Go is a mobile wallet that we prepare for Android, for Apple iPhones, while it's recommended also to use alternative stores like Zap Store or Obtainium to install the app. The code is also open source, and it's the slickest, I guess, mobile Bitcoin wallet out there, which is self-custodial, which is like a wallet interface to a node, and it uses Nostr Wallet Connect, so it's like super fast. I have it with me as well. It's but I guess you put your hands on it, right? I'm not sure which version now you have, but it's almost ready. We are preparing ourselves to launch it and announce to the public. But yes, some people can install it. It has just two buttons. It's just two buttons: send, receive, and a transaction history. Probably the simplest Bitcoin Lightning wallet in the world. While it's not a wallet that holds your funds. It's a wallet interface to your node, which can be Alby Hub in the cloud, on your device, or other NWC-powered wallet or node, because every user of Start9 and Umbrel can do it. Mutiny, I believe, still works through Nostr Wallet Connect. Now, recently there was a LeafPay, which is a custodial wallet, Lightning wallet. It enabled the Nostr Wallet Connect server side on their node, so you can also link your Alby Go to LeafPay. The same with Alby extension. You can link it to Blink and still use custodial sats, but with this non-custodial tool. It's for some users it might be a bit disappointing because probably it's one of the most frequently asked questions when Alby Mobile, that this is not the Alby extension for the mobile. yet. It maybe come out at some point, comes out if it's being built, but anyone is invited to collaborate and help out with it. It's just, but not just, but it's a great wallet interface. But yes, me personally, and I know that many users dream about having integrated experience of signing stuff with locally with your keys, nostr keys or Bitcoin keys on your mobile, like you do with browser extension in desktop, but it's just not yet there. You can do it with on Firefox, but only on Firefox and Android. Only apparently this browser supports having extensions on mobile, not from Firefox, not from the browser. So Alby Go soon. Soon you will put your hands on it. No wait lists, no much waiting. Very soon everyone can get it.
Yeah, see, now I've got the test flight version. And just if you guys keep the onboarding process the same, for the listeners out there, it looks something like this. I get Alby Go on my phone, I open it up and it says, do you want to connect a wallet or do you want to connect to your, I can't remember exactly what it said. It said, do you want to connect this wallet? I'm like, yeah, I sure do. And then I'm looking at it and I go, I don't know how to do this. I know I want to connect it to my Alby Hub. I know. So I go to my Alby Hub on my Start 9. I'm looking at the interface, and then I look for anything that says connect. Sure enough, there's a little purple bar that says connect, connect. I hit that thing, and it says, do you want to connect a device? And I'm like, I certainly do. And then it reveals a QR code. And then on the Alby Go, it said, do you want to connect? And then it gives me like the little camera. Say you need to like scan a QR code. I'm like, I'll bet it wants this QR code that I got from Alby Hub. And I mean, within a second, I had my Alby Hub balance and I had send and receive capabilities on my phone. I mean, this thing is this thing was under a minute, and I didn't even have instructions. Now, this is a user experience, and my wife is somebody who teaches technical communication and writing. And she talks in her classes about the importance of who your audience is, what kind of user experience are you going to provide them, not by reading a paper that you wrote, but by the instructions that you wrote. Or better yet, like in this case, there are no instructions. It's like Lego instructions. There's no words. It's that intuitive. And that's one of the reasons why I really like every single product that I've seen from Alby follows that user experience, where it's damn near, you don't even need to really write anything down. We're going to make this so simple that even if you can't read, you'll be able to use these products. So honestly, dude, applause for being able to have functionality without 10 sheets of white paper that you have to read to understand how to connect something like an app on my phone to my Sovereign Lightning node using Alby Hub that I can also get to on my browser. I get the same balance on all this stuff. It's like I'm confirming my balance from like 3 different spots, and it's wonderful. So anybody who's thinking that this is hard, it's not. And when you get a chance to get this thing, I highly recommend that you do. But you said something that I want to dive into just a little bit more, is the ability to leverage something like Alby Go to talk to my Alby Hub that may, one of these days, contain my nostr private key and be able to unlock on the go some kind of nostr client without exposing my private key directly. Do you think that might actually be sooner than later?
Look, your node also has the root of access to your wallet, to your node, is this huge number, random number, and it's represented by these 12 words. And it's possible to do some magic with these 12 words, because from such 12 words you can also generate nostr key, and that's what Alby extension does. and maybe necessarily holding your keys with the hub. And there is also some other yet to be implemented in such setup technologies like NSEC Bunker that you might like with Alby. Also, what you were doing when you were logging to StackerNews or to Geyser with this using this LNURL auth, like with Alby extension, it was basically signing the authentication with the keys of your node and then paired with your user ID on this LND hub in simple terms. So yes, it's this what you mentioned is among kind of features that yes, they are now we need to focus on keeping this solution stable and even easier for people to get onboarded to. But everybody is waiting for some spare time to actually discuss new features that we could deliver there. Remembering also that Alby Hub needs to stay lightweight app. So maybe some of the models you could turn on and off, but also with this, everyone who dreams of such features is invited to come to the feedback board, or the best if he goes to GitHub, so our developers could see, okay, this is what people want, or even if somebody could, you feel free to do a fork and implement something that you want to see in this hub.
Okay. There's one thing that I do have a question about, and I guess I should probably I'll end up directing this to probably whatever the version of customer support is over at Alby. But I've noticed that because I use the Start9 as my go-to node right now from a Bitcoin Core, Lightning, is where I keep Alby Hub, mempool, the whole ball of wax. So I sideloaded the Start9 Alby Hub package that I got off of y'all's GitHub repo. And I think
it's not even on our GitHub repo, it's somebody else.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's right. It's on Start9's, isn't it?
I think it's no, it's not yet on Start9. It's on Horologger. There is some other fork of it, but it's not yet official.
Okay, yeah,
it's in community store on Start9.
It's definitely
eventually it should be there, right? But I believe it didn't happen yet.
Yeah, I've got So here's the thing: is it's a little weird because I've got Alby Hub running, and it's version 1.2.0, and you guys have actually upgraded quite a bit. But so if I click on that, and I go to or if I click on, if I get into my Alby Hub, the UI, it will tell me that I have version 1.2.0. And then if I scroll over that, if I put my cursor on top of that, it says Alby Hub 1.7.4 is available. So you guys have upgraded quite a bit. But here's what's so weird about it. And again, I'll probably end up going to, having to go to somebody else to actually figure this one out. If I go and I click that, it wants to send me to getalby.com/hub_deployment. But if I actually, that's what it says that it wants to go to. But if I actually click it, it takes me to getalby.com/subscription/new. So I can't actually get the update. Is there a reason for that? Is that like a safeguard to say, we don't really want to do this just yet? We just want to know that it's available. Or is this just some kind of weird URL chicanery going on? Do you know?
Do you really want to resolve it over your podcast?
Nope.
Okay, let me start the terminal. Wait.
No. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't.
I think that it's about not having auto update feature totally rolled on self-hosted Alby hubs.
Okay.
There's right, and there is another process, and I believe you should be linked there. If not, we will put it in comments. We have guides on this also, right? How to update on self-hosted nodes. So yeah, there is already 1.73, and probably when we release it, there will be 1.8, and every major, no, not even major, every like decimal release is named after cypherpunks. Soon cypherpunks will finish, so we are thinking, okay, how to name next releases. So feel free to drop suggestions.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's important for us to understand that not just in the world of Alby and Alby Hub and Alby Go, but Bitcoin in general, Lightning Network, eCash, Fediments, Nostr, that we are not dealing with polished, perfect, out of the box stuff. We're not dealing with people that are high paid customer service representatives. We are not dealing with professional marketing teams. We're not dealing with any of the legacy world.
Come on.
No, we're not. No.
Professional.
We're all professional. We want to do the professional things, but you can be as professional as you want. But if you're climbing on a shoestring budget, it's hard to do the things that Microsoft does, where they roll out automatic updates and it happens while you're sleeping and you don't even know it, and it's like almost like where it used to be smooth as glass before they screwed up that last one with the Cloudflare thing. But in either event, not everybody, but so many people get their underwear in a twist every time something doesn't work in the space. And you can have the best product, because Alby's is a top of class product for me as far as the arsenal of products that I use in this space. And yet, like we were just saying, it says it wants to update, but it doesn't update. I've gotten used to this type of thing in this space because everything here is new. All of us are doing the best that we can. And what I've never understood, and I kind of maybe get your thoughts to end this off, because I do have to go get my kids from school, otherwise they're going to freak out. But when you look at this space and the way that things are not polished, when I look at it, I think that this is a good thing. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I'm not sure if it's good or bad thing. It's a natural thing. And I think, we need to be understanding when things don't work. I still see that this space, everywhere there will be people complaining. And still in this space, I see very positive ethos of appreciation. There will be toxic individuals everywhere there would be. But in general, feeling is I'm very grateful to meet feedback like yours, and it's not an exception. People rather tell us good things in general about things that are not polished, not only from Alby but anywhere. And I guess it's we also do a good job. Not we Alby, we the space ecosystem in being honest in what you do, and it's not a surprise, I guess, for me, and it's people would be complaining and things are not polished, but polishing is also fun, and I look right now at this Microsoft or Facebook. This is so big and it feels too polished, and to me feels clunky and so many things not working. So I guess the rebuilding of internet, I more hope that this is the process of rebuilding the internet and it's only the start. So there will be not polished is euphemism. It's something that we want to have not polished, right? At least it works. At least it's not broken and destroyed, because we can imagine, I don't know, a solar explosion and all of the microprocessors dying. I don't know if it's possible or it's just some urban legend of what could happen. But if this could happen, then I guess we would miss for not polished things.
Yeah, that I think we are rebuilding the web. I've said it a couple of times that it feels like we've gone back to 1991 and forked it, and we're rebuilding it from there. That's what it feels like to me.
91. Okay, I thought it's more like 98. Okay.
I guess I got my first browser, like an actual browser in 94. So let's split the difference and say we're forking it from 1995. All right. Hey, Tomek,
All right.
I've got to go get my kids, so I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you being here, man. And if we get a chance to, if for whatever reason Alby ever needs to make an announcement of anything, hit me up. I'll put you on the show. Okay.
Likewise, thank you for very appreciative words. I will pass them on to our team, and thank you all who is listening to us, because this is we are participating in something nice and big. So thank you for fighting together.
Yeah, I can't think of a better place to end it. I'll talk to you later, Tomek.
Cheers.
Okay, well, I hope you got a lot out of that. I hope it explains a little bit more about what Alby is, what it can do, and moreover, what it can do for you. It is not any skin off your nose to try this thing out. You can put in, like it, and especially when it comes to the nostr stuff, right? Because I can use my Get Alby extension to log into any nostr-based client that there is. I have yet to see one that does not have the ability to say, oh, well, you've got, you want to log in with an extension, and every single one identifies my extension, my Get Alby extension, as something that I could log in with for a nostr client. Every single one. I have yet to come across a single nostr client. And I've been through, I don't know, I've probably tried 35, maybe even 40 of these things. And I have yet to find one that will not allow me to use my Get Alby extension to log in. So if you want to try it out, and I highly recommend that you do, you don't have to use your existing npub insec. You can spin up a fake one if you just want to try it out. But I really believe that Get Alby it has made my life in zapping, boosting, streaming Satoshis, and logging into nostr clients so much easier than it used to be before, that I'm finding myself basically using this particular product for almost every damn thing that I do now. And it looks to me like it's just going to get better and better and better. So if you have not tried out Alby or the Get Alby extension, you can hook it up to their Alby Go. You can hook this thing up to your own Lightning node if you have one. If you don't want your own Lightning node, you can spin one up on a cloud, or you can use somebody else's. You can rent channels. There is a whole ecosystem behind Alby that will support you in being as self-sovereign as you possibly can using the Lightning Network. Right. And that means zapping. That means getting zaps. That means having a wallet that you can use Lightning for. That means being able to interact with the podcasting 2.0. Fountain, there's actually, Podhome directly interacts with Alby, as far as I know. And there's a couple of other either podcast apps or podcast hosting companies that allows you to use your nostr identity rather than anything else to log in with. This extension is going to become very important. It already is a major centerpiece of my day. So again, if you need to go back and listen to this episode one more time so that you can understand all the stuff that we're getting to, because there's a lot there, then please do so and send this to your friends. This episode, share it out to your friends, especially those people who are like, man, this Lightning stuff is confusing. I mean, I forgot to mention, if you didn't hear about it, you can Uncle Jim somebody else's Lightning experience off of your own node. Or even if you've got a node hosted in the cloud, right? And you don't have like a Raspberry Pi, you can Uncle Jim, which basically means that you can basically provide the liquidity and have your friend connect their Alby extension directly to your Alby Hub and act sort of like a bank. I know you're going to go, oh shit, I don't want to go to jail because I'm a money transmitter. We've got to gut up and just start doing the things and forget about this whole asking of permission stuff. We've got to go into this new world, and it's going to be painful for some of us. I don't have a problem Uncle Jimming somebody off of my system. If you do, I'm not going to make fun of you, and I definitely understand it. But the fact that the potential for me to act as the liquidity provider for somebody else's Alby wallet is a compelling use case. So don't forget to, if you didn't hit that in the interview, go back and listen to the interview again, because we touch on like 4 or 5 different things about what Alby's doing. So with all that said, I will see you on the other side.
This has been Bitcoin and I'm your host, David Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and hope to see you again real soon. Have a great day.